I am Lawrence Chuno, and this is Doing Jazz. Hello everyone, and welcome to Doing Jazz. My name is Lawrence Chuno, and this episode is with pianist, composer, and vocalist Patricia Barber. Two phrases I can use to describe Patricia Barber's approach to music are artistically boundary pushing and eclectically prolific. Patricia Barber's latest album, Higher, is a storybook of songs complete with captivating and sometimes outré lyrics, and a masterful storyteller. The song playing in the background is the title track of the album. During my conversation with Patricia, you'll hear the Albatross Song, the Opera Song, and In Your Own Sweet Way. These songs are all from the album Higher by Patricia Barber. After listening to this episode, you can learn more about Patricia Barber by going to the website of the show, www.doingjazz.net. You can follow the show on Instagram and Twitter. The handle is @doingjazz. And you can listen to more episodes of Doing Jazz by subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or any of the available podcast vendors. If you're on Spotify, please follow the show and follow the Doing Jazz playlist, a one-stop playlist for songs by all the Doing Jazz guests so far. While on iTunes, please rate the show, leave a comment, and share the show with your loved ones. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited to present my conversation with the legendary Patricia Barber. In your face.
And you, my true love, have been stilled by pain, grounded in silence, on earth you'll remain, until an air blows in like spring. You'll be young again. Raise your form.
All right, Patricia Barber, welcome to Doing Jazz.
Thank you. Nice to be here, Lauren.
Yeah, we are at Birdland Jazz Club in New York City, and thank you for agreeing to do this. I know it's like a tight schedule. Yesterday was your first night.
Yes.
Tuesday, and there was 4 shows.
No, 2.
Two shows. I know. Yeah, but
they have 2 downstairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It went wonderfully. It was a Tuesday night, and I didn't expect a full crowd. We had a full crowd for the first set.
Mm-hmm.
We had less of a full crowd for the 11 o'clock set, but I think that strikes me as very late these days. People tend to go out earlier. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on the weekend.
Is this your first time at Birdland?
It isn't. John reminded me that I've been here, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
At least 15 years ago, if not more. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. Did you ever live in New York?
I never lived in New York.
Okay.
No, I've always lived in Chicago.
In Chicago,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Scott Thompson, your publicist, he referred me to you, and I remember that I've actually watched your show on YouTube. There was a day I just fell into it, and I was watching, I think it was Newport Jazz Festival, and it was such a great set, and he told me, like, okay, would you be interested in interviewing Patricia Barber? I'm like, yeah, I know her. Yeah,
Oh,
I would
nice.
like to.
Yeah.
I'll be
Great.
stoked to. Yeah.
Somebody recorded last night.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can help me with this. And it's already posted on YouTube, and I would like to get it off. But, yeah.
Okay. We can talk about that
Okay,
later.
right.
Yeah. All right. So you have a new CD. Is it coming out or is it out already?
It's out now.
It's out already.
It's out on
Okay.
Artist Share.
Okay.
And it's called Higher.
Okay. When is it going to come out on the other streaming platforms?
They're shipping. So when you look on Amazon, it did say not yet available, but it may be available any day. It's just a matter of shipping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So I listened to it. I have the private link where I could listen, and I listened, and all I can say, it's like a storybook.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Like it's a song cycle.
Yeah.
So there is kind of a story there.
Yes, there's a story there with well executed but effortless piano and other instrumentals with a dramatic storyteller. So that's what I can say about the album, but it's very captivating. I listened to it about 3 times.
Oh, wonderful. I wish you had the press CD because you could see the names of the songs and the way that they fit together in context, but we'll make sure to get you one.
Okay, great. So, I don't know, I would like to hear more about the CD, about the album in general, about the composition, about the people who played on it, as much as you can say. I know we're pressed for time.
Well, I started looking for more harmonically. Are you a musician?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know that harmony is a very difficult thing to talk about.
Yeah.
And people who are not musicians, it's almost impossible to talk about. Okay, but I started looking for different harmony, let's say before 2013, because you can hear the changes on Smash. You can hear that I'm already learning different harmonies. And Shirley Horn is a famous...
Smash is your last CD.
Right.
Yeah.
Shirley Horn is a very good family friend. She's also one of the world's best composers. And I asked her to give me a few harmony lessons. And boy, was I lucky to get her at the right time. And so she would sit down at the piano with me and give me some of these really precious lessons. And it was like going from black and white to color.
Nice.
There is no doubt that the jazz harmonic system is wonderful. It is the same harmonic system that is used for all the American classic songs, right? So that's not hardly a system of poverty. It's not an impoverished harmonic system, not at all. But when you break out of the circumscribed system and you step into the larger world of harmony, it's as vast as the sky. You really have many more choices.
Yes.
So I started doing that. I started writing songs like that, and they were richer harmonically. Therefore, I felt they needed a less conversational lyric and a more of a poetry-like lyric.
Yeah.
And so then, a lot of classical musicians come in to hear me, have a drink, enjoy themselves. Opera singers, symphony players. And I did a song, If I Were Blue, from one of my earlier albums. And I remember a cellist said to me, "Oh, you're getting dangerously close to the art song." So that...
To the art song.
To the art song. So that piqued my interest a little bit. And I started listening to Fauré, all the French writers, Ravel, Debussy, the German song cycle writers, Schubert, Schumann. And it just occurred to me... Oh, and then somebody said, we were listening to some music, and a good friend of mine said, jazz can never have short songs like classical music, because some of those songs in the song cycles are very short, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I said, well, why not? Why can't jazz have short songs? I can write. I'll write it. So I started writing short songs that are very rich harmonically, that don't really need a drummer. I don't need a beat. And then classical musicians started to come in and say, well, these are art songs, but jazz musicians are playing them. A jazz singer is singing them. So jazz singers and opera singers alike can sing them, and it's certainly refreshing to your ear if you're in the audience and you hear a song like this, because it has a different harmony. And then Renee Fleming, who would come in regularly when she came to town to have a glass of wine, sit in a corner and just enjoy jazz. She loves jazz. She's a great jazz singer. And I asked her one day before I was going up on stage, I said, well, is there anything you'd like to hear? And she had 5 songs on her iPhone. and she showed me the songs. So she had been listening carefully,
Wow.
right? So I said, oh my God.
Nice.
Okay, so we did the 5 songs,
Yeah.
and then Renee and I did a tour together. We did a big concert in Chicago, and then in New York and Washington, D.C. So that was the early part of the song cycle.
Yeah.
And then I finished it up, and so now you have 8 songs in the song cycle. There are a few standards on the record as well.
Yeah, yeah. There are a few of them that I got drawn to after listening a few times. The Albatross Song.
Right.
I just like it.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I was just listening to the performance, to the storytelling, and I got lost in the lyrics.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy because we first did this tour in Europe. And the Albatross Song is just they're not gonna understand.
Yeah.
They understand some things, but the English goes by so fast.
Yes,
and it's tongue in cheek.
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
So
it's about
a woman
lovers.
leaving her husband for a bird. Is quite literally what it's about.
Literally.
Yeah, quite
Interesting.
literally. Yeah, she's leaving her husband for a bird, the albatross, who is the best bird, in my opinion, the best bird on the planet, the biggest bird with the largest wingspan. And goes off for 6 years, flies for 6 years, stays mated, stays with her mate for life. Just a wonderful bird.
Yeah.
And they have web feet so they can swim.
Yep.
They can swim. They can fly.
Yeah.
So much better than us.
I know.
They must look at us and think losers.
I know.
Husband cuts a figure.
Yeah.
So I'm in love with this bird. It's on my bucket list. I have to go see it. So that means you have to go far. I think you have to go to Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah.
His eyes look better with a pair of Ray-Bans, pure Ivy League. He's an impressive man. My lover, the other, whose sartorial splendors resplendent in silken white feather. The outdoor type, he likes to hunt and to fish. How could I fall? For an Australian at all. My husband is endowed in manner, style, and cash, bourgeois. Travels the globe first class. Worldwide chaos, crime, and climate change cannot deter a man in a Range Rover. My lover, the other, on the other hand, native, more like a bird than a man, with bedroom eyes, a beak, 3 toes, and webbed feet, triathlete. Winged god of the sea. My husband, the sovereign suburban overlord, Lexus LX, but his queen is bored. She's leaving the mister for a wandering albatross crisscrossing the sky. With my other lover.
Nice. And then another one is the opera song.
Right? Mm-hmm. That's a tricky song to sing.
Yeah, it's a tricky song. It's like
Yeah.
in the middle you went full Italian. Is that Italian?
It's everything.
Okay.
It's Italian, French,
French.
German, no Spanish. Italian, French, and German. All the
Okay.
languages of opera.
Okay. Yeah.
Intuito misterioso, espressivo, delicato, modellato, maestro spinto, secco e falsetto, arietta, ariosmo, verismo e stretto. Chiaroscuro, mezzo di voce, brillantissimo a capriccio. Gesamtkunstwerk, Singstimme, Zwischenfach, Sprechstimme, Mise-en-Scène, Intermezzo, Impression, Ritornello, Repertoire, recitando, eretisch, rinforzando, gracieur, coloratura, allegretta, sprezzatura, cabaletta, cavatina, la commedia è finita, appassionata, testatura, piacevole, piangevole. Simon Boccanegra, Giuseppe Verdi, Desdemona, Donizetti, Don Giovanni, Violetta Cellini, Puccini, Poppeo, Tosca, Bellini.
And it's so amazing. I'm like, this is daring. It's like you're daring the audience to, hey, stay with me. Can you hang? You know?
I am. I'm daring them either to walk out and to say that woman's nuts, that woman's crazy,
Yeah.
or just to hang in there. What it is I call it an opera rap.
Okay.
It's an opera rap.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah. We haven't done it yet here, but I think I should start doing it.
Okay. I really enjoy that one. Do you want to say anything about that song?
The opera song is about a young girl who is working in an office, but she loves opera. So she, like many people, goes to the opera, saves her money to go to the opera. But she also dreams of becoming a singer herself. So she's a young singer taking lessons. But in order to make a living, she works in this office. And so she talks about a bit of the drone and the monotony of the voices in the office and the lights, and she can't stand it, And then she's going out to the opera tonight, she can't wait. And then what happens is that through her fantasy, she does this, she sort of gets involved in becoming an opera star. She wants to be an opera diva.
Yeah.
Like Renee Fleming. She wants to be that, right?
Yeah.
So she gets involved in
Like
the
the first
fantasy.
line says,
Yeah,
I want to
so-
be a prima donna.
Right. So in her mind, anyway, she goes through this incredible, weird fantasy, including the opera rap.
Yeah.
And when she comes out, she actually takes the place of an understudy, and the singer is sick, and she wins the role. And she says that the next star, La Prossima Stella, will be me.
Yeah.
And actually, that is how many opera singers become stars, is through the understudy
Yes,
role.
yeah.
Somebody gets sick,
Yeah.
and they take the role.
There's another one that I didn't write it down, but I can't remember the name. There's no lyrics. It's just instrumental. Oh, the way you are sweet. Oh,
In Your Own Sweet Way?
Yeah, in your own sweet
Yeah.
way. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's an instrumental that's written by Dave Brubeck.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was a favorite of Mary McPartland's, and she was a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And she would do that song as often as she could, so I open almost every night with it. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. So I want to go back to the very beginning.
Okay.
Where are you from?
I'm from outside of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where?
Where?
Outside of Chicago is not a town.
No.
People
yeah.
might know your town.
Well, they will know it, but it's very different than it was. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
It's called Lisle, Illinois, which is now a very big western suburb, very
Okay.
dense population.
Lisle.
Lisle.
Okay.
But in 1955, when I was born, it was unincorporated. It was just country.
Oh.
And at that time, it was
Yeah.
the last stop on the Burlington Railroad, so that my father could get on the train to go to work
Okay.
downtown
Okay.
Chicago.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Was your a family musical?
Very much so. My father played with Glenn Miller. They were friends in
Okay.
Sioux City. He would sub in his band, Glenn Miller Orchestra.
Awesome.
And my mother was a fabulous blues singer. She had a
Yeah.
big voice. I don't have her voice. She had a voice like Mahalia Jackson. Very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any recordings? Of
I do.
your-
I
okay.
do, but I don't share them.
Okay. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. One day we'll
Yeah,
get to
they
hear.
make me cry anyway. So,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay. How about music education? Did you know you were going to be a professional musician?
No.
Okay.
I thought I would be anything but. I just thought, because my father had been a jazz musician, then he decided to go back to graduate school and become a pharmacist.
Interesting.
And my mother was very afraid of my becoming a professional jazz musician because it's an insecure lifestyle.
Yeah.
As I have said before, it's a stupid thing for a smart woman to do. And so I decided to go to the University of Iowa and get a couple degrees, degree in classical piano and a degree in psychology, so that I could go on to become a doctor, a lawyer, a psychologist.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't avoid it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I called my mother senior year and I said, I'm going to be a professional jazz musician. And she cried.
Oh, wow.
She cried. She was worried about me.
Yeah.
But then, she became my biggest fan. She would come to the festivals and she would stand up and wave to the crowd. And,
Nice. Nice. Yeah. I noticed that it seems you speak multiple languages.
Well, not well.
No,
I'm
wow.
not a polyglot.
But at least
No.
French. You sing in French. Okay.
Yes, I love French.
Okay. Okay. All right. How did that come about in Illinois?
Well, how did it come about? Yeah, well, travel.
Okay.
Travel. I started traveling to Europe for long periods of time, 5 weeks, 6 weeks at a time.
Okay.
And I love the French language, and I love, who doesn't love
Yeah,
Paris,
I know.
right? And it's like music to me, the language itself. And I have to say the French women turned my head. And through a series of relationships, I learned the language, and I spent a lot of time in France.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. So in college, how were you graduated with 2 degrees?
I missed the classical piano degree by a recital.
Wow.
I missed the recital.
And then you got the psychology degree. And then after that, did you pursue psychology for a bit? No?
No, I went right into
Into-
practicing jazz
Okay,
in order to
okay.
try to get some work.
Yeah. And Were you under any kind of tutelage at any point in time?
No, I didn't go to Berkeley or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was really in those days. It was really from the streets. So
Yeah.
you listen to records,
Okay.
and you get as many gigs as you can. I could get a lot of gigs because I was also a singer.
Yeah.
So the singer kept the pianist working while the
Okay.
pianist got her thing together.
Yeah, that's good. And I'm trying to get to knowing more about your musical journey. I'm sure that it hasn't been easy. I mean,
No.
I'm sure people see you, they think, wow, such a glamorous life. You know?
That's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm sure from the beginning, it
Just-
hasn't been this. I mean, it hasn't always been this fluid and glamorous, because now it looks like it's fluid. You just have your calendar full of engagements, you know, traveling around the world. People want to do it. Other musicians want to
Sure.
do that, you know. Can you tell me a little bit about any struggle you've come across? Like,
Oh my God, the
Yeah.
first years were awful.
Yeah.
The first years were terrible. I mean, I'd get a gig, I'd get the club would go bust, or the first years when I was in Chicago, I couldn't get a gig within the city itself. I
Wow.
wasn't, quote, good enough or famous enough or something. So to get a gig within the actual city of Chicago
Yeah.
was impossible. So I kind of rimmed. I got all these suburban gigs. So
Yeah.
I would get the piano bar gig in Northbrook, and I would get a piano bar gig in Hammond, Indiana, which is a really long drive, right? And I was trying to keep a car from falling apart.
Yeah.
And, then I got my electric piano stolen.
oh,
That was stolen from me, that my
Yeah.
mother had given me money for to start my career. It was stolen. So that was, crushing.
Yeah.
At the time, everything was like so difficult. And then it was a woman who was older who told me to check out this hotel, the Westin Hotel. And I went over there and I talked to them, and they had me play the piano, and they hired me with a trio, with a bass player and a drummer.
Nice.
And that was it. I was in the city.
Yeah.
And once I was in the city, I never stopped working. That was it.
Yeah.
But before that, oh my God, those 4 or 5 years before that were just terrible. There was one time when my partner and I couldn't eat. We had no money, and we said, let's shake out our pants. So we took all our jeans,
Yeah.
and we shook out the change, and we had enough for 2 hot dogs. So we went out and got 2
Wow.
hot dogs. Yeah.
That's tough. That's
Yeah.
tough. Did they ever Did they ever make you think of quitting? Since you
many
have this
times.
fallback.
Oh, many times. I have a folder. We used to keep folders instead of folders on a computer. We
Yeah.
actually had paper folders.
Yeah.
I have a folder that says alternative careers. I looked into law school. I
Yeah.
looked into medical school. Many times I thought about quitting, but music. I just love music.
Yeah.
I love getting up in the morning.
Yeah.
And what I do first is I meditate, and then I write sort of free-form prose or poetry.
Yeah.
Then I read, and then I start working on harmony. And I love music. Music is a
Yeah.
very hard business,
It
but I
is.
love the music itself.
Itself.
And that, I think, is what keeps most musicians in it.
Doing it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I have a question for you. I'm a vocalist, and I play the piano a little bit, not nearly as good as you do. And sometimes one of the things that I struggle with, it's not like I struggle with it, but I'm like, okay, what should I do first? I'm always conflicted, not always, sometimes conflicted on, should I learn this song? Should I learn the melody, how to play the melody and the chords, and just work out everything about the instrumental of the song before singing on it? Or should I sing while singing, try to accompany myself? Like, I'm trying to get to, how do you learn this song?
There are 2 schools of thought on
Yeah.
this. Some of the best singers that you've ever heard, Judy Garland,
Yeah.
Billie Holiday, didn't know a thing about
Yeah.
music. They just had a gift, and they would just sing the song.
Yeah.
And so you can't argue with that method.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, when I teach singers, young singers, I would prefer that they learn the music, that they learn the keys, and they
Okay.
learn how to play the piano,
Yeah.
and to write out the simplest of melody, chords, arrangements. I think that they have a better chance of working that way.
Yeah.
You know, musicians don't respect singers very much at all,
Mm-hmm.
number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, if you have your stuff together
Yeah.
and you walk on stage and you, say, at a jam session or something, and you hand the pianist a well-written chart that
Yeah.
sits well in your voice,
Mm.
you're going to have a much better chance
Yes.
of being respected by the musicians and working.
Yeah.
So that's
That's-
my argument more is, you know, knowledge can't hurt you,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it can help you.
Yeah.
But then again, you can't argue with the great singers who didn't
True.
need to look at music.
True. Good. All right. So we're going to end with a short game. I call it Turn Up, Mute.
What's it called?
Turn Up, Mute.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you two choices.
Okay.
Two options. You're going to turn one up, and then we're going to mute the other. So the caveat is that whatever you turn up is just for now. It's how you feel now. What are you feeling at this moment? Right? The other one that you mute, it doesn't mean that you don't care for that. But for now, the one you turn up is the one you care for. Does that make sense?
Well, let's see what
All
you
right.
mean. It's kind of a yes or no thing.
Yes
right?
or no? Yeah,
okay,
yes or
right,
no.
all
Yeah,
right,
you give one yes
All right,
and the
go
other
ahead.
no. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
American audience, European audience.
American audiences
American
because they
audience.
understand English.
Because they understand English.
Mhm.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Is there any good thing you want to say about European audience?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
there are more.
Okay, there are more.
There
in
are
number.
more of them who are
Okay.
interested in art because there is state funding for
Yes.
art.
Okay.
So they're much more aware of art,
Mhm.
music. They make it a part of their life, a part of their society. They
Yeah.
have music education. We're losing so much in this country as far as music education.
Yeah.
And streaming is killing whatever we had.
Yeah.
So
All right. This next one, you gotta be careful. Oh well, maybe you don't have to be. Maybe you've already.
You have to be
figured it
careful?
out.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't
All
have
right.
to be. Yeah. Nat King Cole, Shirley Horn.
Oh, Shirley Horn.
Shirley Horn.
But I
okay.
mean, they're both great.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's not a yes or no.
Yeah,
They're
yeah. I
both
mean,
fabulous.
but just what you're feeling. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Shirley Horn.
Shirley
She's
Horn.
one of my top three.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to say any experience with Shirley
Oh
Horn?
my God, we traded sets at the North Sea Jazz Festival.
Awesome.
We sat backstage together for 3
Yeah,
nights,
nice.
and we traded sets. She'd do a set, I'd do a set. She'd do a set, I'd do a set.
Wow.
And I spent every set of hers
Mm-hmm.
out with the audience in the chair, in the seats,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned so much from listening to her.
Nice.
So much about control.
Nice. All right. This is the last one.
Oh, what
High
shall
summer
we
season.
sing?
Higher.
Sitting
Which
on
one do you
this
turn up? Which one do you
firewall
mute?
with the rest of
These are two of your songs.
Yeah, that's tough, but higher.
Higher.
Higher I
Okay.
wrote for my mother. So
Okay. Nice. Patricia Barber, thank you very much for coming on Doing Jazz. Yeah.
thank you so much for having me. Lynn.
Thank you. Later.
Okay.
We did it.
North of the grayest day, angels, birds, and I leap up and away. And you, my true love, have been stilled by pain, grounded in in silence, on earth you'll remain until an air blows in like spring. You'll be young again. Raise your voice